Hello, welcome back to another video. And today, well, 4 days ago we had the 3x3 explanation, 2 days ago we had the 4x4 explanation, so this time we have the 5x5 banana explanation. So, yay! Yeah, you're gonna need a 5 deep hole as the last 2 times, and the hole is 13 by 14, as you can see right here. This is the, well, this is the 14 and this is the 13. The banana will be awkwardly like at the top and not centered at all. I mean, okay, left, right is centered, but like whatever. And as well as that, you're gonna need these items. So 9 torches, stack of 16 dust, 49 repeaters, stack of 11 stickies, 17 regulars, 47 comparators. There are going to be a lot of comparator negates and inverts here. 8 redstone blocks, a toggled input, so a lever, a T-flip-flop, whatever. 23 droppers, 38 hoppers, 7 furnaces, 8 cauldrons, and then a bunch of TNTs for the frame, 58 to be exact. And then you're gonna need 2 stacks, 23 of building blocks. If you want to color code them, here you go. As well as 41 slabs, you're gonna need those no matter what. And then for the tape, you're gonna need like 50 glass or whatever. Doesn't matter really. We don't have anything reading through the stuff like in the 3x3. And for these dropper hoppers, you're gonna need these items. At least this times it fits into a singular chest. Am I right? So we're gonna need 19 unstackables, and then 15 snowballs, and then 2 stacks, 52 of anything else. And yeah, quick warning. This thing is locational. I have not found a way to get rid of the locationality in this corner, because, okay, I only looked for like 10 minutes, so I didn't really give it a try. But if you come to the back corner of this and place a dropper right there, and you place a block with dust here, cut those off, and then you fire this from here. You can see it did the sound, and then you turn it off. And then if it does the sound when you fire this, it's okay. You can see it didn't do the sound when I fired this. In that case, you're going to need to update your business right here, which will, of course, make it bigger. Or I redesign that thing, which is probably not going to happen. So, yeah, so this does the sound, and then if it does it without, then it works fine. It does it right here. I would show that, but it probably fucks up the entire thing. So yeah, that's the thing to keep in mind. It's at the back corner, 3 from the bottom. Yeah. So once again, we're gonna build like the bottom 3 layers, and then just like the tape, and then fart the banana trapdoor on top. So yeah, let's just do that and start with the tape. So we want to come to the back end right here and place 3 normal pistons like so, and then you want to come to this slice and place 3 normal pistons right here. Then you want to come over and place 3 normals right here. And then for the last corner you actually want 2 normals and then a sticky piston with a dummy block in front of it. So this is going to be our tape. And you can see how this is like kind of weird, but yeah, it all makes sense, trust me. So yeah, within the tape we want this is another weird thing, right? So we have these TNT obviously, and then we have dummy blocks right here, and then here we have our first redstone blocks, which are right here, I believe. Is it 2 over? It's yeah, it's 2 blue, and then it's 2 blue, and then 1 green, and then another green, and then another green, and then that green, because right there will be a cauldron. Cauldron. What the fuck am I doing? Cauldron. In here is gonna be our green wool, and then 3 redstone blocks on top of that. These redstone blocks will go right here and do the triple and the double and the single. And then we have Okay, so this is the part where the tape gets like really weird. So we want these 2 blocks right here, and then the rest of the tape will be shifted over by 1. Because we have our control slice right here, like that. Because these pistons extending actually stops the tape. The tape doesn't like negate itself with a cauldron. The tape literally gets forced to stop by the other circuits. So in here, shifted over by 1, we have 4 redstone blocks like so. I think. Alright, no, wait, they go 1 more to the right? Yeah, they sit right on top of that. So they go over like so, and then under that we have our 3 wool like so, I think, with this and that and these. So if I'm not mistaken, that's the entire tape, and it looks like I am correct. Yes, that is the tape. And then the other 2 sides are just like filled up with stuff, except this TNT will get pulled into there, this TNT will get pulled into there, this is actually a sticky piston pulling this TNT back to there, and this TNT will be pulled into there. But other than that, you can just fill that up with dummy blocks. So that's our tape. Again, this is shifted over by 1 because we force the tape to stop. So let's just build the tape control circuit, and yeah. So we want to come to this and place a piston with a cauldron that will be read into a comparator into these stairs, this torch, just like on the 3x3 with the torch staircase, except this time we're not butting it from above with a dropper, we're butting it from the side with a 2-tick repeater into that. So that just fires whenever the bottom's one gets an update. And then this corner is the part which has the locationality in it, and that's not actually because of the corner itself, but because of the stuff on top of the corner. So we want to place a dropper like this and put an unstackable item in there, and this corner actually went through like 8 redesigns. It's insane. I can probably show a clip right here of, or just a screenshot of the synergy plot. Before Space made the mistake of revealing his Twitter account, his Discord account to me, I just like built a bunch of stuff on my plot with a sign wall asking him, "Yo, Space, what the fuck?" and then just /mailed him, "Hey, check out my plot. There are some signs there." So yeah, you can see we have this double butt, and then we update that. That just fires the dropper. So, yeah. The issue is if this should stay on because of the locationality bud. If we then update this, this now is like permanently budded, and this will never turn off, and we are hard locked. So, there we go. We read this through a block and going into 3 slabs because there will be TNT here at some point. Going up into a pusher with a cauldron. Like so, and that cauldron will be read through here. Now, before we build that, I should probably build the first part of Magenta. So Magenta will be reading this cauldron to protect these TNTs right here, because there will be redstone blocks in the entire banana shape. So we need to get rid of all the TNT in this layer. So this TNT in particular will also like need to be pulled down because there will be redstone blocks right here at some point, while the rest can be just pulled backwards. So this one is nice and easy. That one is also nice and easy with the slab trick from the 3x3, if you remember that. And then That's also the reason why the tape is, by the way, one shorter, because if the tape would be right here, we'd have to get rid of, well, that TNT is already get rid of, but you know we'd have to get rid of this TNT somehow in a different way, and it would get messy real quickly. So, yeah, if you want to cut something, this layer is probably your only option. Anyways, you want to get up with a block and then have a 1 tick and a 4 tick coming out of this block, which powers that one, by the way. And also this 2 tick. And down here we have dust like this with slabs. So this 2 tick and then that 1 and 4 tick are an EBA gate for this one. So if we kill this comparator, you can see it retracts down, and then if we place that again, you can see it gets extended back up. So that all fits into this room, which we couldn't use anyways. On the initial version, I had some like Cauldron and then a negator to subtract from that, because there used to be more Cauldrons in there, but actually that's unnecessary in this version, so you don't have to build that. So I guess I should update the item list, whatever. So yeah, now that we have that part, we can continue with the Cauldron. So this Cauldron will be read through this block and will fire this dropper into this hopper. We need an unstackable item in here, which will be read through this block and go down. And now you know that Cauldrons being pushed away behind a block from a comparator will not update the comparator, so we now need to update the comparator. And the way we do that is with a 1 tick right here, going into a block, going into this sticky piston with this block. So this block being pushed right here will update the comparator to tell it, hey, you're no longer powered, you idiot. And then it turns off. And that will conveniently power the bottom as well with this drop hopper. That's why we have slabs there, so this doesn't like block that. And this slab, is by the way, is right here, so that a TNT in this spot right there wouldn't get powered by this dust. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, we want an unstackable item in here once again, because we are reading this with, just like on the other side, with a comparator through a block and then through dust. Meanwhile, on the top we have a repeater to compensate for that repeater, and then a 3-tick repeater to compensate for this drop hopper being there. Now, there is a slight timing issue here, because the drop hopper isn't actually 3 ticks, it's like 3.5 and bullshit, so just place an updater piston right there. And yeah, that's the entire tape. I would show it to you, but actually I should... Yeah, okay, so we are going to fire this, and then we're going to stop it in the other edge. So get ready to fire this piston when I tell you to, and then we'll update this one. You can see the tape goes, and when these dark blue blocks... Why did this stop? Oh yeah, I forgot to place an updater piston right here. So now if we fire the tape, when these dark blue blocks reach this position, we need to power this piston. So get ready to do that. Any second now. There we go. And now the tape is stopped in the correct place, and this is also how it gets forced to stop. We just hard power this piston with this other piston, because now we are in this nice position again to build green. So yeah, let's start off with this green, because we have 2 greens and that one is way more complicated. So here we have our doubles, which is also why we had to pull away this and this TNT, because this double will obviously go here, and you can see that's bad. So we have 3 doubles and a single, and under here you might expect 3 repeaters, but we actually have 2 repeaters and a dust. That's really important because this block will be held on by these 2 comparators, and it's important that both are comparators because we don't want this signal strength of 1 to go anywhere. So if this was a repeater, this would be permanently on. And the reason we have these 2 comparators here is this will make our ABBA gate for the retraction of this thing. So when this turns on, right, from here by the way, when this turns on, you, or rather when this gets hard powered, this slaps by the way there for this piston obviously. So when we turn this on, this comparator gets negated basically instantly, so this torch and those turn on pretty much at the same time. And there's 1 tick right here. So, but when we turn this off, this comparator will no longer be negated. At the same time, these repeaters turn off. So 1 tick later, this will turn on. And another tick later, this will turn off, and that's how we get the 2 tick delay on the retraction of this. And that's why that's our ABBA gate, and I thought that was kind of neat because I was kind of proud of myself that I came up with this, because I've never used comparators like this, and it's like really cool. So, yeah. Now, it's kind of unimportant for now, but we place a block right here that will do the retraction for the right double if we set this to 2. But we can't set this to 2 for reasons which will become apparent in around 30 minutes. So that's a 1 tick, and we extend that pulse artificially with this 1 tick. So now it's on in 1 and off in 2 and does the exact same thing as before. But it's really important this is 1 tick, and you will see why later. And on this side, you just place a hopper for later, throw an item in there, it doesn't matter. That's later for magenta. Going into a block, going into a drop hopper off of this torch, and that will go through this block into there, into this block. And now we have the entire double for this side done. Hooray. Spooky. Yeah, that's this entire thing done. And now we get now we get to the part where I've been called madman by multiple people. KP in particular, shoutouts to KP. He told me that this thing was like I was insane for even doing this, because we have these 6 pistons and they all need to block drop, or they all need to extend or 1 tick. So this part is probably easier, right? We just fire the back one, and then this one ticks, and then that one ticks, and then when we extend this, well, the same thing still happens because of this. But when this is gone, this will retract, and so this will do this basically, which will do the entire triple. But now you see the issue, right? This double will be retracted if the triple and the single extends. So we need the double to actually 2 ticks, so this 1 ticks. So if we just like... that was too fast. So we do that basically. And then the triple needs to like function pro. So this is fucking insane. I don't know why I did this, but I did it. So, yeah, you can see we only need 1 of these blocks. So, this will... Oh, shit, I never mentioned, by the way. Your input block will be right here. A 3 from the corner, 1 up. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that in my notes. So the way we power this is from here with a 2 tick. And this 2 tick goes into this dropper, this dropper, this dropper, and these 3 droppers. This one has an item as an unstackable, this one has an unstackable, this one has an unstackable, and then the middle and the top one also have an unstackable. Oh boy. So this dropper shoots into there. This dropper shoots into there. This dropper just shoots into there. This can this one can be any container really, because a hopper would also work. A hopper actually wouldn't work fine, but yeah. So just make that a dropper. It will, like, if you power this will shoot straight down. But if it would just shoot down and into a chest would work, for example. Anyways, and then this just goes back across the top. Now, you may be thinking, Cube, what the fuck? And I was like, also like, what the fuck? But it works, trust me. I will tell you, I will demonstrate it thoroughly. So for the closing, we need some dust right here. That will go up one and down one again into a slab. Like so. And then we have a 1 tick going into that and a 4 tick going into that, or was it the other way around? No, it was that way around. Okay. So, yeah. You want a 2 tick coming out of this into this, and down here you want 2 comparators reading these, so this one will get stuck at the beginning, and then this one will be a falling edge going into there. You want a dust right here, a repeater into this block, and a repeater into this block. And what this does is, when we turn it on, is the entire extension. And like that, but like we will extend that obviously. So if we just place our lovely demonstration pistons back, if we fire this now, you can see we do the entire extension. So the this double actually 2 ticks, so 1 ticks this, and after that the triple just does an instant extension, 1 to 1 tick, and then full extension. So if we do the retraction now, nothing will happen. But if we read this falling edge right here into this thing again, that's why this had to be a slab, by the way. And also I fucked up the items because of... yeah, that should be... no, that should be there, doesn't matter. So that needs an item, that needs an item, that needs an item, this and these two need an item. Okay, everything's fine again. So this one first fires this dropper tower and then refires this, and only to 3, so only to here, so we don't empty those. And the reason for that is this 1-4, as well as firing these the stuff from down here, which yeah. So we want a 4 tick coming out of this, going into a block, going into a dust, going into a 4 tick. This will never have TNT when this gets fired, so that's fine. Going into another 4 tick, a 2 tick, going up into a block, going into your standard piston monostable. Going into a 2 tick, going into a 3 tick, going into a 4 tick, going into this dropper. And what this does now is the last part of the double. And we also want to read the item at the top here and here from this return line. And that now will do that. So now the only thing that's left to do is fire this down here again. The way we do that is with this dropper being fired from this dust, with this updater piston which get fired from this updater piston, which conveniently is the TNT grabber. We also have a TNT grabber right here, I should mention, but yeah, that'll take a while until we get there. So this will get fired and put the item into here again, and that will return the item. And it will get red right here, like so. And then we just place that there. And then replace the updater piston. So this can be any item, really. When we fire this now, probably shouldn't lock that. We are missing something. Hold on, let me check real quickly. I think the Fortic has a block in front of it, yeah. So, if we fire this again, we are missing the next 4-tick fire. So we have a slab right here going into a 1-tick, going into that 4-tick. And that should be everything. Oh! Yeah, so we aren't missing anything. It's just that this torch was locked and kept the item from actually doing anything. Oops. So, yeah, of course, in this state, this is actually off. So, yeah, my bad. If we turn this on, this should do the thing now. There we go. So, yeah, that's the entire thing. And again, I was called madman and lunatic by so many people for actually doing this, because we have a triple about being powered by double, being powered by single, all around it by TNT, and it has to one-tick everything. So, yeah, about that. Fun, am I right? Yeah, so how do we power these? We power these from two hopper timers right here. We also have an invert right here, which is why that was a slab earlier. So this should be on right now. Yeah, you can see simple invert, right? When this is on, that goes up, that inverts, and everything makes sense. Yeah, again, we have two hopper timers right here, and they are being held off by these torches from that input block. So, why 2? Because the math in here is insane and I was too lazy to do the math. So, in the double timer right here, we have a shovel and a shovel, 13 snowballs, and 41 items, I believe. And then another shovel. So 13 shovel, 41 shovel, shovel. And in the other one, for the triple, we have a shovel, we have 54, and then another shovel. And this one will be on subtract mode. And the reason for these random random numbers, like what the fuck, is because we are reading this from the same furnace, because there is no space for a double comparison. So, yeah, that's kind of problematic. So, in the furnace, you actually want 2 snow and a shovel. That should give a single strength of 6 or 7, I believe, and 6, yeah. So that controls when the doubles happen, and then this double will this redstone block will also push and prevent this, and like extend this slider, and then this extended slider will forcefully stop the tape from doing anything. So when we when this one stops the tape on the closing, and will also start the tape on the opening right here. So we place a blue repeater right there, and that goes into an updater piston, which will update this middle piston, because this middle piston is also budded, as you can see, which is the reason why we can't have the top piston on top of that, because that would just like constantly fire itself. And before I update that, I want to quickly mention we are going to restart the tape, and then we are forcing turning it back to the original state. So we need to stop it manually again because we haven't built that part yet. When these dark blue blocks, which is why I recommend color coding those, reach this position, we want to extend the bottom two pistons from this. So the dark blue blocks will go all the way around. And just like over here, when the two are here, when the threes are one before the corner, basically. One before the corner over there, and one before the corner here. So next one, there we go. And there we go. The tape is now in the position it should be in if we push this one back. The reason this doesn't happen is because this magenta thing extending, this magenta piston putting this TNT here will also fire the top two of this, so the top piston can push, and the middle piston is already pushed, so we are in this state. Later, at least. So, actually we're gonna build that right now, so what do we need to do? We need to push this piston, easy, through a block right here, drop upper, invert, bam, done. We need to push this piston, just this singular piston, so that's why this was here, bam, done. How do we do that? We negate that with a Cauldron. Right there. So how do we fire this piston? Easy, we put a slab. This is kind of, make sure this is a slab, otherwise you're going to loop the entire tape. Because the slab will power the top and the middle, but not the bottom, and the bottom is the one which updates the bud. So how do we power that? We power that through a one tick and a comparator right there, which is once again powered by a Cauldron. Bam, done. And that's everything from magenta. You're going to power these from right here, by the way. So yeah, you're going to power this from here. That's going to retract those. This one also, by the way, does this one. So you can see this corner gets dismantled by that one. We're going to take care of this TNT, especially. This one is just a drop hopper right here. Easy. And yeah, these are controlled by the tape as we've seen before. So that's magenta, besides the single special TNT. And now we get to place the banana trapdoor on top of the banana-shaped tape. Yay! Only been like, what, 36 minutes? So the standard layout, basically, we have the double piston extender and the block storage right here. We have singles here. We have singles here. We have singles and more singles and a double and more singles and more singles. So this single has to be here because of this block. We can't really do that. Otherwise we have to read. Otherwise this would be completely different and would probably not fit in the size. Yeah, these are fours. The double has to be here. We can't place the double like this because we don't have the space here with that corner being that big. And the only thing you have control over is this slice. That can be either here or there, depending on if you have personal preference. So yeah, let's actually start with the doubles and then we do the singles. Because the singles back there use the double circuit to get there. So for the back one, let's start with the back one because that's simple and nice to understand. We have a dropper right here and a dropper right there. This is the standard banana thing, which I use on probably every other thing, which has a TNT banana. So we want a shovel in both of these droppers. And read this out from here. Into 5 ticks of delay, and that's a slab right here. Slab right there. And then we just like place the two comparators right here because that will do everything for us. So if we fire this thing with a 1 tick going into both the storage and the dropper right here, we can just do that. And you can see that we have the entire double piston extender done here. We need to make sure we place another shovel in this. And the reset from this will be triggered by magenta, as you can see below there. This magenta will reset one item, which is nice and convenient. And yeah, for this magenta, for this double piston extender, we actually have a rather fucked up circuit. So we're gonna read this from here. On this will be a hopper timer, but I will get to that later. So this will get read into this Vortic repeater, which is needed into which goes into a dropper, which just goes to an item. Again, this is basically just a fucking block, but there's TNT up top of it, so it needs to be transparent, and that's like the easiest way to do a corner when you can't use the space, as you can see. So yeah, do that. And then we have slabs right here because dust, and then we have a repeater lock monostable going into dust and a 3-tick right here. And then from this dust you also want another dust going out, cut that signal off, and then have another one of these dropper hoppers just acting as a block with a repeater, but there's TNT on top of it. So if we do this, this is basically the exact same thing as over here. So what we have here is, or what we have here I guess, is a really long delay into the back piston of the double. And then, well, either after, well, before that, the storage fires. So we have the storage, then the back piston, and then on the opening, the storage retracts, and then we do a double retraction right there. Now that one ticked, and that's completely fine, because if we fire this again, but these two pistons blocking the double from doing that, you can see it just does what we want. And this is timed so that it takes longer for the guy who designed the set of brain, blah blah blah. Okay, so now that we have the doubles, you might be wondering, well, this corner seems kinda AIDS and closed off, and it is. So let's just get the easy stuff out of the way. We want a hopper timer right here with what was it? Oh yeah. Okay, so we want a shovel, a stack of items, another shovel, and then 5 items. And my inventory is full. There we go. Shovel, stack, shovel, 5 items. The shovel, stack, shovel is for the top, and then the 5 items is actually buffer time, which is needed because of the way this was designed. So yeah, we are just gonna read this to over here, and that goes into a slab. Then we have 5 repeaters, because we can't like put dust on this because it will fuck up, because this stays on longer than the green. So so I should probably do an explanation video on hopper timers at some point, because with a negate here and an invert, we have what's called, what I call a threshold. So this will only turn on. This will take ages to turn on, but turn off basically instantly. And then this is just the opposite of that. It will stay on for ages and not do anything. So this goes back into a slab for to prevent budding on that one. And yeah, from here we go into a block, another block, another block, actually no, this is like so. We circle around this dropper because this dropper is for yellow, but we don't circle around this dropper because that's magenta and we want to fire that at some point. Like so. And this also conveniently sets up this signal strengths to be 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, comparing to 3. So, yeah, good thing that worked out, otherwise this would have been a mess, or I would have had to use a Cauldron piston with a cauldron and then, or just a comparator negate or a subtract right here, and it would have been 8s. But thankfully this worked out. So yeah, this one just gets a 1 tick running into it, and here's the part where you can decide if you want this here or there. So just place a slab right here and then have either a repeater right here or right there. If you have it right here, you can see that these 3 pistons will extend and retract at the same time. But I just like having it here because, well, this is a 3 next to each other, and I just like it put it here. If you want, you can put it here. It's up to you. This is the only part that is flexible. So, yeah, that's the front half done. If we actually place these 2, this one will be powered through a block like this, and this one will be powered through a block like this, and this can just have a slab, and this one just have a normal block with dust, and we're reading a furnace with, I haven't actually placed a furnace. I have placed a furnace. I've placed one down here. I could have just grabbed one from my inventory. That would have been faster. Yeah, once again, I'm saving you the iron for a cauldron by just having a block in front of a furnace. So yeah, you can play around with these delays if you want these synced. You can't have this sync with a 4 tick. You could make this sync with a 3 tick. You could just play around. You will know when you fuck up, basically. And that's the entire front half of the door done. Right now is probably a good place to do this. So you place a torch, and then you place a block, and then you place a repeater, and another repeater, and a dust into a block. And that will conveniently do the tape stopping as we want it to. Kind of neat how this works out in this corner. And yeah, that's the entire front half of the door done. Now that's left is this bitch corner. So we have these, and then we have this special TNT, which will definitely not cause any problem. Oh, I didn't. I told you to update the tape, and then I taped it. Then I did it manually. Okay, so remove that block and place a downwards facing normal piston in front of that one, and then place that back. So this starts the tape on the opening, and this stops the tape on the opening. Meanwhile, this right here, this redstone block, stops the tape on the closing, and the tape starting will be done by yellow in this corner. So yeah, how do we do this? So we need to get rid of this TNT because obviously both of these blocks will be redstone blocks at some point. In the 3x3, I would have just I one-ticked this and then extended that block into there with some memory droppers, but that we can't do that here because we have no space. So what we're actually doing is pulling this back so that this block doesn't explode it, and then we're also pulling it back to here when the redstone blocks come by. That's why this can't be a 2-tick, and this dust thing has to be here, because if we again remove that, if we have this on a 2-tick and then fire this, you can see the TNT goes boom. But if we have this artificial 2-tick by lengthening it by 1 tick, this actually works fine. And then we just like abagate like 1, 2 into there, back again for the closing. So we need like 3 inverts. So this is taken care of. We need to fire this inverted, and then these. And also this one, I guess, but whatever. So how do we do that? By the way, all these have to be slabs because they are above the tape, and this will be constantly on while the tape is firing, so TNT would just go nuts. And also remember, there's a fucking sticky piston in the tape now, so budding is even more of a problem. That's why these are blocks upwards. And yeah, in case that wasn't obvious, I kinda didn't mention it. So what are we gonna do here? We want a dust right here. ideally we would want a dust right here with a door with an invert right here going into there, but we can't have that because dust's under TNT. Basically, either you fire it from below, which when I did this blue corner was still different, so there wasn't actually the space to do that, or use tripwire, as I found out recently, and that no entities, nah. Okay, so we have a dot right here and a comparator going into there, which will be held on by by two droppers facing into each other right here. Now the bottom dropper will, the back dropper will be fired by the tape. That doesn't matter because we just control it manually. So we have two 1-ticks, and one of those is directly connected to the double twist extender, signal strength of 3, by the way, important. Also important here that this 3, not only for this comparison, but also for this comparison. So then we have a comparator on subtract mode, and one of those sexy furnaces with a singular item in them. So when we just like kill that connection, you can see that if we fire this, if we put an item in there, I guess, you can see this just acts like a repeater. And then on top of that, we have one of those sexy hopper clocks with just an item in it, which acts as a solid block for a repeater right here, but there's TNT on top of it, so you've heard the thing probably like 10 times in all of these 3 videos. Now that we have the space, which I didn't have when I built this, you probably could have done something down here, and then maybe a repeater lock or something, maybe an invert right here. But yeah, I didn't, so this is what we have now. We have this sick double dropper negate into a hopper clock into this dot holding the eye. It's nice. And now we come to the locational parts. So we have a shovel in this, which acts as our negate, and that goes into this dust, and that goes into this dust. By the way, make sure this block is still gone, otherwise the tape will... Actually, no, the tape won't fuck up because we place this back. So, yeah, just place the back. So as you can see, that just one tick just extends, and then a tick later we can just fire that. This corner took like, what, 4 hours to build? Because again, the corner had to be redesigned like 8 times, and then this on top, and yeah. Yeah, so if we just do this, you can see that that gets retracted, and then this one will be retracted by this green dot. And then the tape will do the stuff. You can see that this turning on, this turning off will update this, and we are currently in the deadlock. Okay, so touch this, and then break that, and then replace that. Okay, there we go. So this turning off, which means this piston turning off, will update this piston to update the dropper to start the tape on the closing. And then on the opening, we just, well, you can see we just let this happen and it lands where it's supposed to land. So that's everything for this. So to prevent this deadlock where this is butted and like fucks up, we need to place a dust right here and cut that off, but that will be later. And this is where the locationality I mentioned 50 minutes ago comes into place. So in this location, this dust turns off, and then this dust turns off, so the dropper gets updated by the dust. But in this location, this dust will turn off. The dropper is like, oh, I'm still powered by this block, and then this dust turns off, and then nothing happens. So in this particular location, we need to update our pistons right here. And again, I haven't found or fixed for that, and I haven't even looked into it for that long anyways. So now the only thing that's left is these singles, so another comparator negate right here, making convenient use of the fact that a shovel in a dropper is only signal strength 2. So we subtract 1 from 1, and that that fires, that's another invert, so we have an invert for an invert for an invert. That will turn off this cauldron, piston cauldron. And that will fire that. That probably makes sense. And how the fuck do we get to this one? Kind of simple. We just have another invert. So we invert that like that. So this cauldron moving away from behind this block will actually not update this comparator. So if we just do that, you can see that doesn't do shit. But then this comparator turning off will update that. So that's why that works. And that's kind of neat because that would have been a pain to get otherwise. So, yeah, that's everything, I hope, at least. Updater blocks because of locationality, otherwise this wouldn't be needed. And the tape is in the correct spot right now, so if this deadlock is prevented and the tape is in the state with everything done, 13.141.11 and 154.1. This has to be subtract, this has to be compare, and this is a 2 and a shovel. And on top of this is a shovel stack, shovel 5, then this should work. Now watch me embarrass myself. Yay, there we go. And for the opening, you will see there is some downtime. So I flick this lever, this screen will retract, like some of these TNT will go down. And then we wait. And that is because, and then the tape gets started from this thing. And that is because of this math thing, because we can only compare to one thing, and like we only have the room for one compare container, and we're done. And now you have to wait for nothing, actually. On the other edge, you have to wait for these 6 items. So we only have the room for one compare container, and that's why we have 2 completely differently structured hopper timers. So this one is straightforward. We just fire an item in there. We just fire this after the threshold. The issue is that we need the invert. We need to invert this for this because of this invert. And even if this wouldn't, like this is just 2 inverts, so this wouldn't be necessary. The issue is we can't, from this hopper timer, we read this for this one, and we read the other one for that. So these hopper timers have to be structured completely differently. And then the triple invert here happens. And because we only have one compare thing, so the compare thing is actually completely based around this one. So this last shovel will completely overpower this to 8 or 9, I think 9. And we compare 9. We subtract 9 to allow 10. No, we subtract 6 to allow 7 to happen. But this needs to compare to 7, so turns on when it reaches 8. And then we have to structure the entire... It's a fucking mess. I remember when Lego fans said in the 2x2 hipster TNT that I made that I programmed an entire redstone computer.
Well, he basically didn't even build a piston door. This thing is more like a redstone computer, and it's programmed in order to achieve the piston moves.
That was nothing, that was 2 hoppers. This bullshit, that's... So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope I get this cut down to under an hour, and again, if you have questions, just ask questions. I was going kind of fast because I didn't want another 19-minute long video like the 4x4. And I hope the edit gets done because I'm running out of videos. Bye!